Okay, let's start. So what we have here is we have a pie chart. Okay, so we'll learn a new trick today. So well, let me show you what that trick is. Okay, so I have I'll uncheck all the checkboxes here. So the basis of this trick is very simple. Now sometimes what happens is the client feels that okay, one particular value, like in this case say this would be D. This D is too high and he doesn't want to see this particular value, so he considers this as an outlier. So what he would like to say is he would like to see the pie chart without this D. So then we run into problems. Then we think of creating a new chart, or we tell them okay, I'll come back to you later or something. So here's a trick that allows you to have those views. What I mean to say is, if I want to remove D from here, I'll simply uncheck this box and I'll have D removed from there. Okay, so if I want say this particular gray area, which would be B, if I want product B to be removed from this pie chart because it's too small and I might feel that it's insignificant, so I'll uncheck B and I'll have B removed from here. Okay, so this is the basis of this formatting trick. So whatever labels, whatever products I want to see on my pie chart, I'll have only those visible in my pie chart. Okay, so this is the thing that I'll be doing here. So let's prepare the dashboard first. Okay, so this dashboard has three components basically. One would be, okay, I'll first ungroup them. Okay, let's see. So it has basically three components. One would be a pie chart, another would be a background, and third would be 5 checkboxes. Okay, now what I've done here is I've removed the legend. I've removed in this pie chart, I've removed the legend, I've removed the title, I've removed subtitle, I've removed everything, just kept in the pie chart here. I've used a background behind. So this can be learned in the formatting trick 1 that you can see on the website. Okay, and here I have about 5 checkboxes. I ungroup them and ungroup them also. So basically you just put 5 checkboxes and then you do the formatting. You basically select all 5 of them. Okay, you do the formatting, you space them evenly downwards, you make them of the same size, then you align them on the left or center, wherever you want to. Okay, so that all of them are in line and they are spaced evenly, and all of them are of the same size. Okay, so that is done. Now pie chart is done. This is my background and this is simply a label that I put them. Okay, so this is how you prepare the basic dashboard. Okay, next I'll go to the spreadsheet view. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet. I have labels here in the A column. I have checkbox, I have labels, series 1 labels, and final display values. Okay, so basically this is the data that I'll be working with in this particular dashboard. So these are the labels A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and these are the values of those labels. Okay, these can be products and units sold or sales or whatever you want to consider. So these are the 5 products and these are the units sold. Now what I'll do is I'll put the destination of the checkboxes as these cells. Okay, so I'll just show you that. Object browser, I click on the checkbox. I have checkbox 1. I click on properties. Okay, I go to general tab. I'll take the title from here. I have the source data, which is already by default as unchecked, will have a value of 0, and checked will have a value of 1, so I don't change that. I check the destination and put the destination as this. That is done. Similarly for all the checkboxes I do the same. That is, correspondingly I give them the values and have their destinations as these cells. Okay, so that is done. So whenever a checkbox is checked, it will have this. Suppose if the first checkbox is checked, this will have a value 1, otherwise it will have a value 0. Okay, so this is the data that I had previously. Okay, from this is the data that I got from my reports or analysis or whatever I did, and I got this data. So basically corresponding to A I have 24 units, corresponding to B I have 6 units, C 18 units, and so on. Okay, so now what I do is, next part, which is the important part of this particular format trick, is this. Now I have labels. I have the labels as A, B, and C and D. They are not being directly picked from here. Instead of that, I have a formula here which says if B1 equals 1, that is if this cell equals 1, then it is equal to B2, else it is nothing. Okay. Similarly, I have in this, if C1, that is this cell, equals 1, then it is C2, else is nothing. Okay. Again, for this, I'll tell you why I have used these formulas. Again, let me first show you the display values. Again, it is exactly similar. If B1, if this is equal to 1, then this value, else you have nothing. Okay. So the point of writing these formulas is that if I have all the checkboxes checked, I'll have all the values displayed here. Now if I have one checkbox unchecked, say if I have the checkbox corresponding to product C unchecked, so this would become 0, these values will vanish. This will vanish because D1 is not equal to 1, hence it will show a blank value. Okay, so I'll just populate it back to 1. Okay, so if I have say the checkbox corresponding to E as is unchecked, so this would become 0, and hence I'll have these two things gone. Okay, so that is how it is. Okay, let us change it back to 1. Okay, so this is how it works now. Okay, let's close that. Okay, so this is how it works. Now what we do is we go and connect our canvas to this. I'll have the checkboxes, as I've already told you, connected that. Pie chart, I'll have pie chart pick up the values from here, that is this, and the labels would be this, but I don't need, okay, I'll need the labels as that. Okay, so that is done. I'll go to my canvas, I'll have this, and I'll have my pie chart, and I'll have my checkboxes. So basically everything is done. The only part that is remaining and important is this. I go to the checkbox, I right click on properties. What I want to have is, okay, I'll go to the pie chart first. Okay, I'll go to the appearance tab, I'll go to the series. Okay, so the series that corresponds to A is filled with blue color. The series that corresponds to B is filled with gray color. The series corresponding to C is filled with yellow color, and so on. So what I would like to have is, ideally I would like the checkbox which corresponds to A should have the same color as the series. So if you have a careful look, okay, I'll just make it smaller. Okay, so if you have a closer look, A corresponds to blue and I have blue here, B corresponds to gray and I have gray here, C yellow, yellow. Okay, so what I've simply done is, if you double click on say one of the checkboxes, okay, sorry, yeah, go to appearance, I have put the unchecked and checked color as yellow because I have yellow in this series. Okay, so that the user knows which color which color he wants to see and which color he does not want to see. Okay, now we simply go to the preview, we click on preview. Okay, you see nothing appearing here because the default values of these checkboxes are unchecked. So if you want it to appear, you just simply change the default values to be checked. Okay, now for the time being I'll just check them. Okay, and this is the final graph. This is how it should look like when I click on preview. When you have all the values as checked, default values are checked, this is how it will look like. So this is how I have my graph. Okay, so D, E, F, and so now the customer decides, or the client decides, that he doesn't want to see B because it's too small and it's insignificant. So what he'll simply do is he'll simply uncheck B, and B is gone from here. Now what he feels is, say D is too large and he doesn't want to see D, he wants to see a distribution of these four. So what he'll do is simply he'll uncheck this, and here the D would be, the product D would be gone, and I'll have the rest of the four. This is how the formatting trick works. Thank you.